Commander Zhao, I've been hunting the Avatar for 2 years and
And you failed! Capturing the Avatar is too important to leave in a teenager's hands. He's mine now.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, the Southern Air Temple. When you say the words Avatar The Last Airbender, this is always one of the episodes that immediately pops into my head. Team Avatar heads to the Southern Air Temple, Aang's former home. While there, they learn a little more about Aang's destiny, find a new flying lemur pet whom they name Momo, and confront what actually happened to the other airbenders. Meanwhile, Zuko and Iroh take their ship to a Fire Nation dock for repairs. There they encounter Commander Zhao, someone with very little respect for Zuko. Despite Zuko's best efforts to keep it a secret, Zhao finds out that the Avatar is alive and begins his own plans to capture him before anyone else, including Zuko. So this was the final episode needed for setting the tone of the show. The first 2 episodes established that this journey was going to have plenty of laughs and plenty of action. But there's a third ingredient: drama. Throughout the show, there will be lots of moments where the characters need to really dive deep and explore who they are as well as what they're doing. And this is the granddaddy of those types of episodes.
This whole Avatar thing. Maybe the monks made a mistake.
The only mistake they made was telling you before you turned 16.
There's some interesting stuff to discuss when it comes to Avatar's particular brand of drama. Wait, this is gonna get confusing if I keep calling the show Avatar, because sometimes people are talking about the Avatar brand as a whole when they say that. From now on, if I'm just talking about this show, not The Legend of Korra, not the comics, not anything else, I'm just gonna call it AtLA. AtLA is a family-oriented show, so it can't go too dark, but war is one of the major running aspects of it. So it has to get the ideas of the cruelty of war across without actually going into too much detail of what those cruelties entail. And the team behind the show managed to find some pretty effective ways of getting around that problem. The show can't let you see a corpse, but what it can do is display the aftermath of a battle that happened years ago, allowing Aang, as well as the audience, to figure out what happened, which is not only a clever way around, but makes sense to the story. It's hundreds of years later. Of course, we're not going to see the actual battle take place, nor the actual corpses. So even though this is an avoidance of PG material, it doesn't feel like it copped out in any way. This episode is also where we're first introduced to the previous Avatar, Roku, as well as... Okay, so not only was Kyoshi gay, but apparently she was trans as well. Who is this guy? This whole room actually does bug me a bit. You wouldn't build it so the current avatar is coming towards the middle. You would put the first avatar in the middle and then have the rest come outwardly so that you can expand the building as years go by. A few more avatars and this temple would have ran out of room. I remember how shocked I was as a kid when I first saw Aang going into the avatar state here, and how that is what caused the world to find out he's alive. One, because I knew that would make his journey a lot harder, but also it seemed like it was breaking, I don't know, some kind of story rule. Similar to how Tony Stark reveals he's Iron Man at the end of the first movie. That's not something you're supposed to do in a superhero movie, but they did it anyway and the story was better off for it. I kind of feel the same way about this here. Despite Team Avatar's story revealing a lot and being extremely effective, in my opinion, the B story greatly outshines the A story. Why? One word. Agni Kai. Or is that 2 words? Whatever, the firebending duel is amazing. Yeah, it reuses some animation, but good gravy. There is so much tension behind all of it, and we get to see Zuko's trademark breakdance for the first time. There's a lot of reasons for the tension in this fight, which actually builds up when you have knowledge of future episodes, but the main aspect is Zhao himself and how, despite that he and Zuko are technically on the same side, you know he represents something different, something almost opposite of what Zuko does.
You can't compete with me. I have hundreds of warships under my command, and you're just a banished prince.
Zuko and Zhao's personality, despite not being that different, collide with each other in a very poetic way. Zuko, big shock, is a representation of honor, doing his best to be respectful, but not allowing himself to be insulted either.
That's it? Your father raised a coward.
Next time you get in my way, I promise, I won't hold back.
Zhao, in the meantime, is pride. Despite claiming to have the Fire Nation's interests at heart, it's very easy to tell he actually does things for the vanity of it all. In future episodes, you'll see more examples of this, and even hear how others get upset at how much resources Zhao puts into making himself look good. Pride and honor are 2 sides of the same coin, and it's very easy for one to cross from one side to the other. But Zuko and Zhao allow you to see the clear difference between the two.
Your own father doesn't even want you.
You're wrong. Once I deliver the Avatar to my father, he will welcome me home with honor. and restore my rightful place on the throne.
The difference between Zuko and Zhao explains all their interactions, as well as the ending to the Agni Kai. Zuko is too honorable to strike an opponent when they're down, while Zhao is too prideful to let one walk away.
Even in exile, my nephew is more honorable than you.
AtLA manages to do something by its third episode that most shows take at least one season to do. It makes you sympathize and even root for the bad guy. Zuko is the antagonist, the one we want Aang to beat. But nobody's watching this fight and thinking that Zhao should come out on top. This early on in the show, we see that Zuko might be the quote-unquote bad guy, but he's certainly not the worst. In fact, there's clearly something good there. All in all, this is one of the most memorable episodes, maybe even one of the best episodes, but mainly because of the Zuko part. Not that the Aang part was bad, it was really good, but Zuko clearly outshines the rest here. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.